Jurassic Park again. It is literally going to change the state. The commercialisation of molecular biology is the most stunning ethical event in the history of science, and it has happened with astonishing speed. For 400 years since Galileo, science has always proceeded as a free, open inquiry of the workings of nature. Scientists have always ignored national boundaries, holding themselves above the transitory politics or even wars. Scientists have always rebelled against secrecy and research, and even frowned upon patenting their discoveries, seeing themselves to be working for the benefit of all mankind. And for many generations, the discovery of scientists did indeed have a peculiar, selfless quality. When in 1953 two young researchers in England, James Watson and Francis Crick, deciphered the structure of DNA, their work was hailed as a triumph of the human spirit in the centuries-old quest to understand the universe in a scientific way. It was confidently expected that their discovery would selflessly be extended to the greater benefit of mankind. Yet that did not happen. 30 years later, nearly all of Watson and Crick's scientific colleagues were engaged in another type of enterprise entirely. Research in molecular genetics had become a vast, multi-billion-dollar undertaking, and its origins can be traced not to 1953, but to April 1976. That was the date of a now famous meeting in which Robert Swanson approached Herbert Boyer, a biochemist at the University of California. The two agreed to found a commercial company to exploit Boyer's gene splicing techniques. Their new company, Genentech, quickly became the largest and most successful of the genetic engineering startups. Suddenly, it seemed as if everyone wanted to become rich. New companies were announced almost weekly, and scientists flocked to exploit genetic research. By 1986, at least 362 scientists, including 64 in the National Academy, sat on the advisory boards of biotech firms. The number of those who held equity positions or consultancies was several times greater. It is necessary to emphasise how significant this shift in attitude actually was. In the past, pure scientists took a snobbish view of business. They saw the pursuit of money intellectually uninteresting, suited only to shopkeepers. And to do research for industry, even at the Bell or IBM labs, was only for those who couldn't get a university appointment. Thus, the attitude of pure scientists was fundamentally critical towards the work of applied scientists, and to industry in general. Their long-standing antagonism kept university scientists free of contaminating industry ties, and whenever debate arose about technological matters, disinterested scientists were available to discuss the issues at the highest levels. But that is no longer true. There are very few molecular biologists and very few research institutions without commercial affiliations. The old days are gone. Genetic research continues at a more furious pace than ever, but it is done in secret and in haste and for profit. In this commercial climate, it is probably inevitable that a company as ambitious as International Genetic Technologies Incorporated of Palo Alto would arise. It is equally unsurprising that the genetic crisis it created should go unreported. After all, InGen's research was conducted in secret. The actual incident occurred in the most remote region of Central America, and fewer than 20 people were there to witness it. Of those, only a handful survived. Even at the end, when International Genetic Technologies filed for Chapter 11 protection in San Francisco Superior Court on October the 5th, 1989, the proceedings drew little press attention. It appears so ordinary. InGen was the third small American bioengineering company to fall that year, and the seventh since 1986. Few court documents were made public, since the creditors were Japanese investment consortia such as Hamaguri and Densaka, companies that traditionally shun publicity. To avoid unnecessary disclosure, Daniel Ross of Cohen, Swain and Ross, counsel for InGen, also represented the Japanese investors, and the rather unusual petition of the Vice Consul of Costa Rica was heard behind closed doors. Thus, it is not surprising that within a month, the problems with InGen were quietly and amicably settled. Parties to that settlement, including the Distinguished Scientific Board of Advisors, signed a non-disclosure agreement, and none will speak about what happened, but many of the principal figures in the InGen incident are not signatories, and were willing to discuss the remarkable events leading up to those final 2 days in August 1989, on a remote island off of the west coast of Costa Rica. Prologue. The Bite of the Raptor. The tropical rain fell in drenching sheets, hammering the corrugated roof of the clinic building, roaring down the metal gutters, splashing in the ground in the torrent. Roberta Carter sighed and stared out of the window. From the clinic, she could hardly see the beach or the ocean beyond, cloaked in a low fog. This isn't what she expected to see when she came to the fishing village of Bahia Nasco on the west coast of Costa Rica to spend 2 months as a visiting physician. Bobby Carter had expected sun and relaxation after 2 grueling years of residency in emergency medicine at Michael Reese in Chicago. She had been in Bahia Nasco now for 3 weeks, and it had rained every day.